Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Easter day here in glorious Alta, Norway, wherever you are. Per and I bless you infinitely. Do you want to say something to the group, Per?
Hello, everybody. Happy Easter. Let's get started with the webinar.
Thank you, Per. Let's bless all the spirits that are joining us here today on this glorious day of beauty and love. Sometimes long ago, humans created celebrations, and one of them was in the spring equinox, and maybe at that time it had occurred around April 5th. But whatever it is, there is a recollection amongst all spirits to descend and bless and anoint humans everywhere that they choose to bless and anoint back and care back. The action of blessing back and forth with spirit into matter is a sacred action often involving Babaji. Babaji is with us today to say something to you about the nature of light because he too wishes to anoint you with deep grace and purpose and a mission divine to take your life forward in light motion rather than in darkness that has blanketed humanity for a very, very long time. The darkness chose to enter this system now that the light gates closed due to the mother-son dream waning out of the solar network that you are a part of. And Earth is a gracious planet, not anymore to be honest with you. Although we love the earth and we love nature, she is actually dying, and light might revive her for a time, but only if it responds evenly. This is also so for you. So we wanted to talk to you today about even light. And even light is more important to your health, maybe than anything else. This prose is a beautiful prose about the nature of light. When you choose to apply it in the world and how it causes way and it causes a brighter day and dream for you and each that you dance with. Remember to fill everything with light before you dream. It is a beautiful way to change the nature of status of you and each in the dreams that you care about each day. But first, and before we get into that, we wish to talk to you about the darkness that plagues humanity. The darkness is in part an electro gadgetry, but also is in the act of aging. For every aged body has a certain number of cells that are rotten, and rotten cells attract darkness. And no matter who you are and where you are and what age you are, if you have rotten cells, you attract darkness. I don't know why it is, but cells rot, and cells rot due to diet and also toxins and also such circumstances unknown to us and in the environment of light. In the light motion of field, you can begin to unrot your cells, and unrotting your cells means that they have to revive and regenerate and renew. So if you really want to enter a light state of being where only light dreams play out for you, you have to eliminate cellular rot. I'm sorry, there is no other way to do it properly other than choosing to cleanse and change your diet. In the Lightweight series, I've written about some suggested diets that work for cleansing, and I won't repeat the information here because you can read it online. Also, I've spoken of some sacred herbs that are helpful to the blood to keep it the right consistency to retain your health. And light can renew and revive every cell. There are substances you can add to your diet that can help, such as things that Asarana has written about that we won't repeat here, but mostly it is water that cleanses the cells. If you consume water that is blessed and fast on it, it can revive your cellular structure perhaps faster than anything else you could do. I just want to give a warning that although fasting is safe, for most healthy, well-nourished people, it may not be appropriate for individuals who have any medical conditions. Please check with your health practitioner first before starting any fast. Fasting on water isn't always comfortable to begin with, but over time, you will find that the light will fill the abdomen when you only consume water for about a week. As the light fills the abdomen, your sense of missing something in the blood repertoire of reality simply fades, and then suddenly you may feel better. And if you carry on for another week, you will begin to undo the systems that cause rot in certain places in the body that are difficult to undo, such as the intestines, or the spleen, or the kidneys, or the liver. And then if you continue to fast, those cells will be thrown out the trash of you called the intestines. And if you continue to fast, no more rot shows up, so the intestines kind of go empty. And then you will know that you have cleansed the rotten cells out of you. In the days of the Yogis, a monthly fast on water was a yearly experience. Occasionally, it was bi-yearly, but mostly it was once a year in the hottest time period of the weather because there was no sense of being cold or chill. We did it every year as a yogi because it was the only way we could turn around the cellular rot. Some of you would find it abhorrent in terms of trying to work and fast and all these things you would like to do, but maybe you take a holiday for a time and choose to fast for a week or two and then choose for a lighter diet of juices after that if you have to interplay with people and accomplish the same goal. And so we bless you for that, and with the truth that light really prefer fasting some in ancient times and in brighter regions of other dimensions, such as the fifth dimension of human form. And there are humans on the solar sun which may surprise you. It's a very small tribe there, but they eat very little. They nibble on berries, and they make teas and other concoctions, and live primarily on water and air. Because when light is brighter, there is no need for food. And when you get up in the eighth dimension, it would actually deteriorate the physical structure to attempt to live there and eat anything, and so they don't. They don't even drink much water, to be honest with you, because that's not really needed due to light being able to infuse the body with adequate fluid. So today, what we would like to speak to is your need to use light to brighten each cell. Before we go into this, we would like you to connect down several miles underneath you to the Tao of the land. Could be as far as 8 miles that you need to go down to gather the Tao to you that is here in the land to support this healing. Then I'd like you to reach up to the sky and to the clouds above you and connect with the Tao of the air. She is the purest on the planet, and she will cascade down to connect with the Tao of the land to foster the sway and the love and the sharing in the interplay with spirit into matter that we would like to foster for you this day that is sacred unto us too. You call it Easter, we call it spring equinox. Wherever you would like to call it, we bless you all the same. We love you into wholeness, and that is our theory for each of you in the physical, because wholeness has been so desperately lost in this plane of reality. You are not whole, you are very incomplete in the rotten cells or incomplete body parts, if you wish, which is kind of an odd way to think about it. But in order to be whole in the physical, every cell has to be alive and filled with light. Therefore, that is our goal for you when we speak to the types of nutrition, the types of diets that work for a light-infused life. As you cease to attract darkness, life is brighter, and the world around you sways, and the dreams your desire of your heart have a greater chance of inner playing in the world around you, and so we'll speak to you about that too. The Tao of Earth is also with us today, and she has a sacred blessing on this Easter of our hearts. It is in the truth of a tomorrow that can be born for you and may or may not be born for all. But for you, you can choose to be in a light sway. You can choose to be in a light dream. You can choose to foster your existence in light. You can choose to purify the body so that more cells light infused. You can choose to hold yourself in a status of light rather than a status of darkness, in spite of the darker dreams possibly plaguing the human systems. You can choose to be with me as the Tao of you and the Tao of your life, but not necessarily the Tao of everyone else. For Tao must choose for the bodies that we wish to sway with, and they must be pure and light infused and seek to foster the understanding of the spiritual paths of realization, to be with our time to augment. And many are not aware enough maybe to know that they are attempting to realize themselves. Many are, and they may not be amongst you entirely. We would like more to join us, and we are attempting to augment that dream into the world of light wave synergy. But it is a tough time period of many dark forces that seek to shatter and damage the realities of humanity that may realize something, and that's sad for us to witness too. And so we're here to give to you, and each of you supporting Asarana in this live stream of her realization of herself, a gift which is to understand you a little bit better in this light transfusing world that is beginning to ignite global wide. Each of you understand that and sometimes have had Difficulty may be modulating your life and modulating your life stream and modulating your emotions given the emerging transfusion. So today with our blessings, we wish to cascade a beautiful anointment of truth. And the truth is that you can choose to allow the darker aspects of existence to fade and to fold and go where they need to amongst those that choose to interplay with demonic word. For in transfusion, demons are not welcome. In our last webinar, we asked you to shut all gates or seal all gates to anything that was not useful to your transfusion or useful to your life existence. Today we say to fill yourself with enough light to shutter the gates of anything else that isn't right for you shut, and keep filling yourself with light until it is so bright that nothing that would like to detriment you or damage you can remain present in your existence, in the self of you, or in your home, or wherever it is you are listening to this beautiful pre-recorded webinar that Asaran has been asked to present to each of you, willing to tune in and sway with us some as the Tao of the planet. And we have only two things to say about this. Light in and of itself is a boundary if it's filled enough, and filling yourself with light is a delightful experience because you brighten. Your face brightens. The dreams of your life brighten, and others brighten too. And the dark forces recede into the background where they can remain for however long they wish to, for however many they wish to, doing whatever they do. The background is not a light-filled reality. The background is the backdrop of the shadow play of humanity. You are not a shadow. You are of the light, and perhaps that's what you have to remember every day and night. Even though the night comes on and the darkness fills the sky, allowing the stars to twinkle and the moon to shine, it is not needed to be a dark time called night. And some of you may be here with us at night, and some of you in the daylight of yourself. Regardless of what it is a human propensity to cease to burn your light bright at night while you rest. And I ask you, why do you do this? What is it that you believe is so about night that you need a flashlight to see the light, or you can't turn it on because maybe you won't rest well, or maybe something else is going on in this reality of yours? Whatever it is, it's time to leave behind the belief that light cannot shine bright at night. Now, sometimes your Tao do sway you to rest the body here and there because it needs to renew and regrow and revive. If you are fasting and fostering a kinder diet and doing things that help and support your body in reviving, then the rest time may grow longer as you sleep and snore the night away, and hopefully not keep your partner awake if that's how loud you snore. But whatever it is, at night we rest you too, and that doesn't mean we turn out the light. So we turn on the light, and in the night we may warm up, and suddenly you may find yourself a little sweaty, and maybe you get up and go somewhere else in the house to listen to what we have to say. We like to wake people up about 4 times a night, if we can, as Tao's way with you, to heal you so that you can be more aware of your truth and aware of what you are doing in the day of you. Because in the day of you, many of you are busy with your work, wherever you're going or whatever you're doing, and you don't have as much time to listen inward. So we use the night time as a time that you may listen to Dao and also Tao if he is present. Right now we focus more on Tao with each of you for many causes of our own because we need to get you to transfuse evenly. If you do not transfuse evenly, you all be ill in a few years, and this is not our desire for you. It is true that you have to take responsibility to your diet, and we hope that each of you do put aside the foods that don't work well with light because it's your health on the line and not ours. And so it is up to each of you to choose for this. Now, Asarana is going to change some photos here so that you can see a beautiful shot of Bryce Canyon. This shot speaks to shadow play, that in the light there is the shadow, and in the shadow there is the light. The shadow is where the sun doesn't shine on the canyon of you or the canyon of someone else. You're beautiful to us and beautiful to each in this way of the canyon of your heart. So we would like you to expand yourself out now with your Tao to sway in the canyon of your heart. Each of you over time has been in canyons that are beautiful, and you have swayed there through time, where everything may be on whatever continent within whatever country. Those of you that were in Norway sway with the canyons here. Those in Iceland sway with the canyons there. Those of you in Bryce sway with the canyons there. But whoever you are and wherever you have been, there are canyons that love you, and so you go there now in your mind's eye and sway there with us to and fro, back and forth. And in a light-filled night or day, depending on what hemisphere you are in and what moment in time we are speaking. Do not let your nights ever be filled not with light, and do not let your days be filled not with light either, because this is important to each of us. The shadow play could fade if humanity would all focus on light. Alas, they don't know how to do that, or don't remember or aren't educated in that direction. It's a sad cycle of a mesmerizing journey in which the light worked and merged as a set of teachings before the light went on the planet. We don't know what demon or what force brought that information forward before it was time, but in it was a syncopated rhythm that they thought they were already in the light when they were at best in sound and a lot of darkness, to say the very least. In your works with the Dreamtime Ascension School, or DAS, in your spiritual mastery levels, you focused on a lot of darkness or nemesis dreaming of issues that were very difficult sometimes to face within or with others. Sometimes that has carried on into the emerging life cycle for some of you. I'm aware of that too. In the darkness is the nemesis to understand how the dark separate and divide, and that is the only purpose of nemesis dreaming. Nemesis dreaming is a shadow play and is to be left behind in the light. Nemesis can occur while you're deep asleep, and this is best for you. For while asleep, you will analyze the darkness that still plagues the shadow play of your life and choose to abate it, or finish with it, or complete it, or forgive it, allowing the light to shine brighter in your day. Those of you that like to analyze your dreams at night during the day can do so, but sometimes that pulls you into the shadow play because you're focused on things that separate and divide rather than unite and unify and love and care and bless and sway. The mind directs your dreams as to whether they're in a shadow play or they're in the light. If the mind focuses on negative things, you're in shadow play for sure. If you're looking at someone that hurt you or harmed you or caused you problems, or whatever you think that you witnessed, you're in shadow play thinking. Shadow play thinking needs to be left behind or left to the realms of dreaming, perhaps, so that you can focus on positive things that care and sway and love and bless rather than on the negativity of nemesis. This has been a huge nemesis cycle, so most of you were trained to focus on the darkness during the day and find yourself maybe in dark airstream rather than light airstream that doesn't transfuse evenly for you, leading to maybe muscular strife or nerves that bunion or nerves that squelch or itch or hurt, and that's from shadow play. In order to be in the positive airstream, you need to witness each as beautiful human beings regardless of their nature or some other part of their psyche or unconscious. They are beautiful human beings just like you, trying to live their life as best they can, having their strife, whether it's work issues or home issues or family issues or child issues or whatever they're struggling with through time. And you, like them, have a play in your life that isn't always easy either if you recognize the difficulty that every human faces. Some may be far greater than you that may have been homeless or have been beggars on the streets or have been born deformed or born mentally ill or whatever it is that they have plagued their lives. You can find compassion for those too, but understand that everyone has their problems. In this cycle of emerging light of shadow play, there are problems, and it is really true, and I can't even explain what they are or what they aren't. It's just that you chose the path to understand shadow play before the light went on. If you didn't understand shadow play, you wouldn't understand light. So you nemesis heavily and looked at a lot of darkness in you and in others. This separated and divided and didn't allow care and sway and beauty and grace to emerge in this life of yours. And I can't explain it any better than that, but that's what shadow play taught you. But that was then, that was ascension, and this is now, this is light emergence. You need to give up the shadow play in your mind and learn to find beauty in everybody that you look at in this life of yours. And love them always for whatever strife they have known too, because there isn't a person on this planet that hasn't cried or had problems coming into this world in their birth gates and didn't feel something deep about the nature of this world as they enter it. Also, there isn't a person on this plane of reality that hasn't felt abandoned or rejected or dejected or hated or unwanted or unknown or invisible or many other things that even famous ones that you may or may not admire also experience in the nighttime of themselves. So find compassion for each and love them always because they all hurt too. We're all broken birds. Each one of us have hurt no matter who we are or where we have been, and to love each one, even her mother and father, sister and brothers, and every one of you and everyone she has known or touched the life of through time. Because we're all wounded and we all need to heal and find the care space, learn to mend our hearts and find something beautiful about this world of ours, to honor our emerging light motion and mindset into care space and a truth of love that is forever instead of hatred, which is to be left behind to the characters like Satan and Lucifer that want to play out those dreams amongst whoever wishes to play them out in a forever hatred of themselves. And that is not a place we would want you to go with Tao ever. So be in the forever love and recognize the truth of the compassionate action of you, that the people you know are wounded too, even if you have the interplay of darkness or demons or whatever it is that haunts them or you. You don't need to be in the shadow play any longer and be haunted. You can choose to turn the light bulb on and let the shadow play fade into the canyons of someone else and allow the light filled dreams of you that don't haunt you anymore show up in this picturesque place of you. That's really our only statement in relation to shadow play, is that it's time to let the shadow play go. Focus upon the positive and not the negative, and focus upon the truth rather than what separates, which is just delusion of nemesis. Nemesis is a delusion too that wants to examine things only for the sake of resurrecting your chromosomes. When you see what separates and divides, you know it distorts your DNA, and then you can repair it. And most of you spent 18 years hoping your DNA and chromosomes revive already, in preparation for light motion of field. Therefore, you've done that work already. So let's give closure to our path of ascension today and give birth to the path of light and let go of the old thought stream that said you have to examine everything closely about everyone around you that may be in shadow play too, and cease to go there anymore in your mind or heart or anywhere else. And that's really all we have to say about shadow play today. Okay, we're going to switch our pictures here again. And this is a beautiful shot of a stream bath or a hot bath. I think it's over 200 degrees Celsius or something like that. It comes up through the infrastructure of lava and volcanic ash in Yellowstone National Park in the US. This piece of art or this photo speaks to the choice to separate and divide or unite, and how everything that separates and divides creates a canyon or wall or a gate that says, I'm here and you are there. So in this scene, you can think of yourself as in the water and not in the sulfur, because the gray is a form of sulfur that has unified into a sort of rock, a very tiny rock. That's what this is. For yourself, you want to be in the water, in the blue water, and not in the gray sulfur in this time period. Now, there are many reasons that we put you in the water of yourself. In the water of yourself, you will call the rays to the body that most nurture it. In this water, although it's blue, and underneath it is a white form of sulfur that is a white stalactite that is actually a rainbow ray. We've spoken to some of you about the rainbow rays and the need to find DNA in light motion that molds into rainbow ray if you have it within your ontology to do so. And in the white stalactite is a rainbow ray energy that's here in a canyon of Yellowstone, and the blue water is simply the reflection of the sky. If the sky wasn't there, the water wouldn't look blue at all. So in the white canyon of the stalactite system is a rainbow ray to bathe yourself with today of the 7 rays. The 7 rays include yellow, red, peach, or orange, as well as blue, green, lavender, and pink. In the rainbow rays, every part of yourself is nurtured. So we're going to have you call rainbow rays up through your feet, legs, thigh, abdomen, torso, arms, and hands, as well as your neck, face, and hair. We're going to have you call this up now to give you a mild light infusion, to allow what is not well within the cellular structure of you to begin to revive a little bit more, so that you can begin to heal yourself of what is called rot theory. That sounds funny to some of you, but all humans are in rot theory. Even children under age 2 sometimes have rotten cells due to warped DNA or warped something else, and that's very sad to witness in this cycle, but so it is. Sometimes children grow out of rot theory not, meaning that most of them stay in that for the duration of their lives. Those who age or get very decrepit in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, or even their early 100s, often are more rotten than they are healthy, and that's what you're really trying to overcome by emerging into rainbow white light rather than yellow white light. The yellow white light doesn't have all 7 rays to nurture the physical, and it is the predominant ray emanating on Earth and to the Sun and the Mother Sun airstream at this time. And so as you go to rainbow white light DNA, then you start to produce all 7 rays rather than just yellow white to allow your body to emerge into its health and the airstream of you to move out of shadow play. Because somehow the yellow-white light increases shadow play rather than decreases it. Some of you are well aware of that in witnessing days of darkness and then days of lightness almost interchanged one by one due to the yellow-white light. Some of you have already brought in rainbow white DNA or rainbow light DNA. And we call it fire light DNA because it has the fire element in it. And the fire produces the 7 rays always. And so, for those of you that haven't brought in the firelight DNA, ask your Dao to research the archives from Norway, Iceland, or Uluru to pick up the rainbow light DNA package that we have tried to gather for you today as a gift for listening to this webinar. We bless you always with the health of you and the health of every cell, and be motion out of rot theory in this life of yours. And in that you will also motion out of the shadow that is inherent in the cellular structure as well as in your life dreaming. In the meantime, and until all the rot has healed within the physical as you cleanse and choose the diets that are right for you, it's best to fill your world with rainbow light and not just yellow-white much. How do you do this? Well, the best thing to do is to reach the sun of our solar system, because rainbow white light emanates from the sun and is not from the planet at this time. So you can reach to the sun and fill yourself with rainbow white light right now through the Tao of the sky and all the way into the Tao of the land, allowing a rainbow white light sun of your own circumference to develop underneath the feet of your subtle bodies. So let us do that now. Now we're going to explain a little bit about light infusion. And light infusion for those of you that haven't attended a Dreamtime Light Wave workshop, or for those of you that don't remember some of the written articles that Shatar brought through in the Light Wave series. We bless Shatar. He has vacated much of earth. He is being renewed not. He was a sound organized being that helped people with ascension motions. He's been here for 800 years. He has vacated now to make room for a new character known as Victorio. And Victorio is a very gifted causal Tao type of instrument that is nemesis-oriented, but also will help you with your life dreaming. We introduce you to him so you can turn to Victorio about your life dream maybe after this session to express to him what you need to create on the physical plane in light wave dreaming instead of shadow plane itself. And he will help you with this always. He is a beautiful being, and please bless him greatly along with his female part. They always appear side by side, and she is known as Victoria. Victorio and Victoria mean heir of Tao and blessing of Dao in a Tao language, perhaps long forgotten upon earth. They are beautiful beings to witness and to support you through this life of yours ahead. Therefore, we want you to fill yourself with rainbow white light. And transfusion begins in the sun underneath your feet. It is a full spectrum sun, meaning that it has all 7 rays. And the sun creates light guards around the physical. There are generally 7 to 9 light guards around the physical. And if you don't have 7 to 9 guards, then ask your Tao at this time to create all full spectrum light guards that you are supposed to have at your given octave of evolution. As you can increase in octaves, they do increase in number. Acerona actually has 80, but she has gone way up above most through very difficult form of transfusions, through fission planes of self. We don't advise that for anybody unless you really need to do this as a yogi aspirant of you. And if you do, you know who you are because it is a very difficult level of transfusions through all the airstream that breaks everything down. It's airstream that began not just the nuclear winter of World War II, but it began due to fusion issues of instruments left behind in the aurora from Atlantis that as the core warmed up again after their winter due to a comet that hit the planet. They had fired nuclear instruments into the core to warm up the planet for a time, and some of them didn't detonate. As the infrastructure warmed again, they detonated it, maybe 400 of them, and it melted the core. And that is the undercurrent of the collapse of the planet almost 8,000 years ago. As the planet warmed again, it shrank in size and fell in dimension, which was very sad for all of us to witness, because it fell from 3.5 to the third dimension, which we live in now. And that's a very odd dimension where shadow play is more present, whereas at 3.5 dimension, shadow play doesn't exist. So the Atlantean society didn't know shadow play, but you do. They caused it, unfortunately, due to something that they didn't know couldn't work, which was trying to continue to heat up the core when the planet was freezing due to loss of atmosphere, and something they couldn't fix with all the human techno-gadgetry that they knew. There is karma for that, but please forgive the Atlantean people for doing their best to try to retain their society as any human nation might do. They are not directly your ancestors, but indirectly. And most of the firelight DNA is coming from their archives for you to transfuse into today and into the future to bring yourself back to full spectrum biology. Now, full spectrum biology retains the health of the 7 rays always present in each cell. So as you bring the light from the aurora of you that is full spectrum now up into your small transfusion body which surrounds the physical structure, it goes out about 6 inches in most of you. Beyond your small transfusion body is your ethereal, and that goes out about 6 feet. And beyond that is your subtle bodies, which extend out about 18 feet. And then beyond that is your life form, which is very large, and we won't even give you the dimensions. And then beyond that is something called your Tao. When you touch base with your Tao, you also touch base with your life form that has gifts for you today in the form of many things that may go in or around you, and through you may be decorum in some way. If you close your eyes, you may see the decorum that they are gifting you as a blessing from their heart into you for choosing to transfuse into full spectrum DNA. Now in Atlantis, they knew that full spectrum DNA retained the health of the blood because all 7 rays were present always in the body, and those that couldn't manifest full spectrum DNA often died by age 30 of very, very thick and ill blood. Thick blood created tiredness to a point that they couldn't even get out of bed and had to convalesce much of the day if they could get up at all. And so over time, Atlantean society euthanized those that couldn't wake up hardly because it didn't make sense to leave them in a bed anyway when they were really going to pass away in a matter of a year or two. So if you have judgment about euthanasia, understand a little bit more about their society, that it was a light birth society that understood the problems of light. Society knows nothing about light, has no idea how it's going to affect the body, mind, or anything else. And that is very, very sad for us to witness, because it is hard to navigate in any way, even if you know what you're doing as in the Atlantean society. It is much more difficult to navigate unless you tune inward deep and listen to your Dao and Tao always about what you need to do, eat, or where you need to live, what it is that's best for you to live your life within in order to retain your health and longevity until you choose to go home. And so we bless you with fire, light, DNA. Now the small transfusion body poses. It poses with the nerves, and the nerves motion from the toes up to the top of the head in the rhythms of about 6, 6, 6, 6. And that's about 6 seconds apiece. If you think about it, 6, 12, 18, 24, every 24 seconds, the nerves pulse from the toes to the head and back to the toes again. And that is a transfusion system. And the light motions up and up and up and up every 6 seconds. And it comes through each cell from the toes to the top of the head. And that is transfusion of the small transfusion body. Now the ethereal body poses 12, 12, 12, 12, or half time of what the small transfusion body poses in at 6, 6, 6, 6. And the subtle body transfuses in 48, 48, 48, 48, or quarter time of the ethereal body. Your life form doesn't transfuse because that is a reality that retains your health and holds your genetic archives and everything you need to know with your Tao about how to master the realization of you. The purposeful mission of your life form and your Tao is to realize you. The purposeful mission of your Tao is to dream your life so that you have enough to realize within and also dream the body health of the physical. And so that's the Tao ordering of everything. In the rainbow light, chances are your blood will stay better with less tendency to grow overly thick or overly thin. And most likely, you will adjust your diet if you listen carefully to your Tao in order to eat what you need in any given day, week, month, or year of this life ahead. And you will learn to be very, very careful in about 6 to 7 years' time when the major light gate of the core of the planet opens up, because after that, if you are not very careful, chances are you're going to be sick. We speak that to you because it's just the way it is, not just for you, but everyone on earth. So please pay attention and do what you need to, or you'll be unwell. The unwell is up to you in many cases. And in rainbow white light, chances are you preserve yourself a lot more than you might have in another kind of light wave DNA. And that's why we gift this to you today. Rainbow white light is four-directional. And so as you transfuse in 6666 in the body, there are sways that go forward and backward and side to side. Every 6 seconds, the sway goes from this side to this side, and then 6 seconds later it goes back to this side. And so it's a constant sway of this side to this side, and then there's a front and back sway that does the same thing. For many of you, the old light wave DNA that you have been integrating only sways from side to side and not front to back. So as we open this and blossom it in you either today or in the coming months or two, because opening light wave DNA happens in small packets that go here and there in the body and sprout. As it opens out, you will learn to sway both side to side and forward and backward, and your field will round out. Most transfusions, fields without firelight DNA, are very oblong or oval, and over time, as the light wave firelight DNA opens up, your field will grow round. For some of you, that will feel better because in ascension you have a very round field, and it was very difficult maybe to leave the round field behind and go into the oblong field of transfusion gates that were very stiff against the body. The transfusion gates or the firelight DNA arc, so they arc both underneath you and above you. And in the arc, the firelight blossoms above the head and under the feet into the flowers of self, which are the divine thought stream that also sometimes they flourish like waves that can cascade, then beautiful rainbow light on top of others that you know are in the environment of yourself. Turning this way in the pelvis is a bit of a problem because that's where you have your waste management systems. In the physical, and the pelvis needs to sway along with the sways under the feet, in the heart area, and also above the head. So no matter what you're doing, the sway has to open and match the sway under the feet and the pelvis, in the heart and above the head, to and fro every 6 seconds, side to side and front to back. Now, in this way, there is beautiful music that can resound, that creates another dream for your life ahead, and we're going to explain that a little bit next. Sarana is going to change the photos here. This is a picture of Glacier National Park on a day that the light was absolutely organza over the mountain and valley. Per and Sarana loved to take photos wherever they traveled, and this was a beautiful canyon scene that caught our attention. We go through archives with pictures here and there, and we find things that we think emulate the airstream of light for you to look at if you're looking at your screen. The airstream of light catches sometimes on mountainscape and often looks slightly pink like you see here. The planet on that day in the mountains was transfusing divine care. This mountain often does transfuse divine care to try to provide divine care airstream for Earth. In time, they can learn to transfuse rainbow lights of all different colors of the rainbow provided there are stalactites in the mountain range. And this mountain range had lots of stalactites in it. It was a beautiful day where you caught a little bit of lavender, a little bit of blue, a little bit of green, and just a tinge of yellow in the mountains in an attempt at full spectrum analysis of light wave motion that was being tested on this particular journey into Glacier National Park that Asarana and Per took that summer. Many of these photos go back 7 or 8 years, and the planet has been preparing for her light wave motions for a very, very long time. We will set up a transfusion system that emulates the mountain airstreams so that you can feel it through the sky of yourself and start to match that airstream of full spectrum rainbow oscillations of all colors possible to retain your health. Now, some parts of the body may need different colors to let the rock theory of the cells dissipate. If that's true, allow yourself to fill each organ, gland, or system with the right ray with the help of your body angel. Everybody has a body angel, and body angels are beautiful, and it comes from your archetype. She will paint you in a color map of herself to help your body integrate the right rays to help whatever is ailing each organ, gland, or system to begin to revive. And with your angel, please bless her because she is very delicate and very fragile. And when she is finished, when the webinar is through, let her go back to where she needs to be protected. So this is with every spirit that may come to you today. They will emerge again when you need them, or when you sit quietly and bless and ask them to help foster your full ray spectrum of 7 notes on a symphony of orchestra of light wave sounds too. We'll speak to that a little bit here. Along with the 7 ray DNA is an orchestra that's a full symphonic sound of everything from bass to Tinkerbell sounds of chimes and bells and flutes and perhaps even whistles. Whatever it is, it's a full spectrum sound that holds your light boundaries, when light motions, so it's still a sound system, but it's not the same kind of sound that you played in Ascension. The sound in Ascension had a huge boombox effect, and if you were strong in your percussions with a lot of drums and rattles and so on, you held your boundaries best. In light, that doesn't work. It's actually the chimes and the flutes and bells and maybe the whistles that hold your boundaries best, so it's almost an opposite. Many of you still play this boombox sound. It's best to dismantle that type of instrument out of you and allow another kind of instrument to be formed that's lighter and more aerated and more like harps and angels, perhaps, playing on the clouds if you want to think of it that way, except it's a full orchestration of beautiful music that reflects your truth always as you transfuse. Also, there is another angel that will show up too. That is an angelic orchestration of sound, and she's going to recast your instruments to be beautiful in sound today as a gift from the planetary Dao, and its sound in light and not sound in sound. If you wish, in your mind, you think, I need to be sound in light and not sound in sound. Many of the canyons of Earth are leaving behind sound in sound and going into sound in light. That's a very different feeling as you motion through those canyons if you have a chance to return to national parks you've been to before. They won't feel the same because the motions of the forensics of the land will change to motion from boombox sound to tinkle bells of chimes and bells and other things that whistle like flutes. And that will be their name motion, because that's what syncopates light gates. So if you think of it, it's your bells and your chimes that you play all day that syncopate your transfusion too. And as you motion more in that direction of sound and light, you will be better in your boundaries as you exit your home and go out into the world to engage with people. Now there is another focus you can use, and we won't say this not, and that is to fill everybody with organza light. And so we're going to speak of organza light out the top of this mountain. You see this white cloud, and that's an organza light bowl that is being sent somewhere else to another part of the park that is in need of a blessing. It is an angel in the mountain in that moment that Asarana caught the image that was making an organza light bowl to heal something that maybe was damaged, maybe due to human problems, but maybe not, because there's many planetary problems in the quagmire of shadow play. It's shadow play that the earth also has to transfuse through in order to leave shadow play behind her. and enter a full spectrum light motion of sound and light and tinker bells and whistles and flutes that will then bathe the planet in a beautiful time renewal ahead. That is the wish of the planetary Tao, to renew the planet so that she can have her last light cycle of about 300 to 500 years in peace, and that is her wish. If humans went along with it, this would do far better for her, but many don't know enough to do so. Although this is sad, this is not true for you. Now you know that you need to learn to light organza too. Now in your genetic archives is information on light organza. Light organza is a stream of light or a ribbon of light that then can wrap around your light garb and illuminate you a little further, and also bless the ethereal structure and bless the body too. Therefore, the Tao of the planet will create a light organza ribbon to wrap around you in a way that she thinks you need the most in this blessing of this Easter day that is upon us. In this spring solstice, as she calls it, in that ribbon will be the rays that will call to you the spirits that need to ascend out of the sky of you and the sky of the Tao of you to bless you and work with you further in creating the right proportions of light and sound in an interplay or an intermix of transfusion that works best for this body of yours. Transfusion is a syncopated rhythm, and most rhythms are a waltz knot. It's more like a foxtrot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, with 6-second gaps, and that is the rhythm of your transfusion. If you find music that is more like a foxtrot, that will help you imagine the pace. But sometimes we like to waltz or motions in jazz or some other kind of motion, and all of it is fun, and all of it is playful, and do all of it anyway. But remember that your transfusion doesn't match your dance music, and then you will be okay. If you try to do the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you will shorten your transfusion, and it won't match your etheric body, and it won't match your subtle body, and it won't match your life form notions. And so it's not good to try to change the rhythm of your transfusion ever. It needs to be in the foxtrot motion of 1, 2, 3, 4 always. And so we ask you to align to that beat in this moment with your Tao, because some of you prefer the waltzes. And although that's beautiful, it's not best for the health of your body. Therefore, in our light organza, there is a sacred blessing from Baba. Baba is the keeper of the pink ray on the planet, and we love him too. And don't confuse him with Sai Baba. Sai Baba was a human, and Baba is an ethereal structure or system for care space. Sometimes it has a face, but sometimes it doesn't. It really shows us an animal. It always graced you with gifts of blessings for your live stream or your live stream. So please bless Baba back for the beautiful gifts he is anointing of you today. In a pink airstream of his blessings for Asarana at the time that she caught this motion in a folder of her heart in Glacier National Park. And so we bless him back and we bless you too, each of you listening to this webinar with Asarana and Pair. As you choose to watch the airstream of Baba in your heart motion and sway the heart just a little bit bigger to catch the love of the infrastructure of you. Now, as the heart sways bigger, the motion changes and the pink begins to flow to the cellular structure of you. As you bless with Baba, the transfusion body turns from full spectrum into pink. Pink is best to renew and revive the body cell by cell. So periodically, every day, about every half hour, you turn into the pink ray, and then you may go back to full spectrum in a different ordering that is best to revive whatever is rotten or isn't well in the cellular structure of you. Now we're going to change pictures once again. Now this was a scene from Iceland, taken from a beautiful spot that Pair and Asarana stood on a credenza of that lovely resort. It is a beautiful lake scene or fjord where whales sometimes comes to spawn young ones, they tell us. But in this moment, there was an understanding of something beautiful that was relayed to Asarana. She was capturing the vision of everything that our Dreamtime group mastered. In that moment of divine percolation, of everything that is better or well or lovely and everything else. And that was very important to her in that moment of her heart. The land of Iceland is a major light gate. For those that have been to Iceland, please bless the spirits that honored you in that moment. For those of you that have never been to Iceland, try to get there. Iceland is an amazing place to experience the love and grace of the planetary Tao. It is his homeland, and we went there in honor of him, asking him to help realize us. And he will, in his own way, with the Tao of your heart, realize you through time in this life of yours. But the blessing of this fjord was one of unison of a group, because the group needed to come to harmony to blossom together by the end of our Dreamtime event. Our group succeeded, and it was an amazing sway, and those that were there who recollected that moment where you knew in your heart and mind something amazing had blossomed. And we love you always from this canyon. The canyon says that the fjord of your heart and of a space where you realized something could be divine and blossom anew in this life of yours. We wish to grace each who listens to this webinar a blessing from Iceland and from the planetary Tao, as in the sweetness and the care space of everything that is, in the infinite love of all that is. And that's what this canyon expresses, is infinite love and care of all that is. For that's what this canyon expresses, is infinite love and care of all that is. Few places experience infinite care and love of all that is upon earth. And so this was a sacred place to come and love and bless and honor and retreat and know yourself a little bit better in this life of yours. This is true for each of you. You must come to a space of infinite love and care of all that is. All the people that you know and all the spirits that have ever been, whether they're light or dark, in the shadow play of themselves. Remember to love them all, and the light shines bright, and the shadow play fades, and something miraculous occurs in the filled heart and mind of you. So our blessings is for the love of all that is, and in this we will explain about light infusion. The light infusion is a system that looks kind of like tubes of light that form along the land. In this canyon, there were lots of tubes of lights, so light infusion here was very easy, not only for Asarana and Pear, but also for the staff at this particular resort, for they loved this experience too, in being here in the non-shadow play of themselves. They were a very light organza group. They were mostly young girls, and they enjoyed their singing and playing together in a common residence. They cooked and cleaned together, and they were cheerful and very kind to wait for our meals. And the breakfast buffet was amazing, and everything was astutely light organic throughout our stay. Bryce Canyon in the Utah in the U.S. is another light organza filled region. Light organza is a sacred system of light motion that flourishes around and up and through and side to side, and it continues to motion. And if we had a video that might be better for what we're trying to demonstrate, except you can't see the light at all. This particular canyon in Iceland had consistent organzas that showed up, and it could be that it might when the auroras shine. We saw some of that against the backdrop of the dark night sky, because it may be that this region could catch some rainbow aurora motions in the nighttime sky. We weren't often awake. We weren't often awake to catch that. But wherever it is, organza light stream is rare upon the planet yet, and many mountains do not know how to organize this with the angels that exist within the canyons as of yet. This is also for humans too. You don't know how to light organza, and in time you learn how to light wave up and down and through and around and wrap it. You can focus on that as you meditate in your mind and see if you can organza a light stream to do different motions. And of course, we know that some motions mean something while others don't. If you let the Tao guide you, it's easier to go with her rather than something that you would free form in your mind. And it might not mean something very well in light wave synthesis of itself. The infinity symbol or the figure 8 is a good one to begin with. And so if you can, in your mind, imagine a light wave that moves from side to side in a figure 8. You can try to change each color into the full spectrum of the rainbow light of yellow to orange to red to peach to lavender and blue and green and even turquoise, and then into the pink rays and then the purple rays. Perhaps you can see where you have difficulty focusing on a particular ray and introspect over why that ray diminished in your anthology of existence for full spectrum and even motions of each tone. Some of you may be dominant in 1 to 3 rays and not full spectrum in the nature of you. Now, full spectrum nature is a wide range of dreaming possibility far wider than you know how to accomplish today. And so as you master all the rays evenly of all the 7 rays, you will give birth to a bigger dream that can foster something new and challenging and wonderful for you to experience in the physical. The figure 8 system of watching the rays that you're gifted at and watching the ones you're not in your mind's eye is one way to determine where I'm weak with a particular way and let me bring that in and infuse it more into my system of infusion so I can learn to master that ray too. And that is what light ray mastery is about. It is mastering all 7 rays evenly and all the subtle hues, so too, which are the pastels and they all blend into white anyway. White isn't really white until you have all 7 rays present, which means your purification isn't always as good as you would like it because you're missing 4 out of 7 rays or 5 out of 7 rays or however many rays you're not good at producing. So this is a good exercise for you. The boundaries will hold better in light as you can master pure white because what sends the dark into the darkest part of yourself is to blast it with white light. But that requires you to master all 7 rays first and even proportions such as a candle or something that blends all rays into what you call a white flame. When you can run the white flame, then your boundaries will hold better. But in the meantime, you can feel the dreams of your heart, your home, your workspace, whatever you need to adventure with full spectrum light. The 7 rays will align in different proportions, and it will tend to back off the dark out of your home or out of your office or out of wherever you're visiting or transiting enough that you will feel better. And so that's our recommendation. People do respond to rays, so if you feel people with the rays that they're in need of, they will be kinder or merrier or happier or more beautiful in your presence because they feel better inside themselves. It's hard to determine what rays an individual may need, so don't try to direct a particular ray towards someone because the truth is you don't know perhaps what they need. But if you ask the Tao of them or the Tao of the land nearby what do they need and let it be organic towards them, then perhaps they would do better than an exchange that might be non-benevolent ahead in your life's journey. And we love the regional Taos always that are near us. So let's bless the regional Tao that's supporting this airstream of this webinar and everything that you are to receive in a healing of the transfusion of you. We're healing the transfusion of you for many causes of ourself as Tao because transfusion when it's non-succinct doesn't help us in your region or anywhere else. It just doesn't. It can't in fluxes and it flares, and the flares scorch your body and sometimes your mind or your soul. If it doesn't flare, then you're tired or depressed, so there's a need to regulate the transfusion to be even in a 6-6-6-6. That's what we're trying to foster with you today. Is an even pace of transfusion that neither flares nor dwindles, so that you can stay balanced in your mind and your heart and learn to sway with yourself, with your Tao first, and later with one another or in your partnership as a couple, so that you can be better in this life of yours at your boundaries. Sway can foster boundaries too, and when you're in a balanced 6-6-6-6 rhythm of transfusion, you can sway up and up and up until you clear the space for yourself to be free of anything else that might bother you. If others can sway some with you, and they may, and that requires care space, so they have to care for you in order to sway with you. And if they do, your Tao may allow for that, and then the space can increase. And the more they sway together, the bigger the space you clear to be in joy, to be in harmony, to be at peace, to be in the love of you or the love of everything, and the love of all that is. Big sways like we experienced here in Iceland brought in and transfused into our dream time group the love of all that is. And so we bless the love of the love of the love within that is emerging in you that allows the love of all that is to blossom as a 5th level Tao. So it's the love of the love of the love of the love within that is love of all that is. It is a heart opening that causes that. It is not fostered without a heart opening. You cannot love all that is unless your heart is open 5 layers deep. And you wonder, what does that mean? Well, it's petals of love, isn't it? That they petal and they organza and they flower. The 5th layer of the love, of the love, of the love, of the love, of the love within is the love of the divine also. Real love of all that is a recognition that everybody in your life is divine. As you go about your day and you add rainbow light to everybody that you know, you are beginning to express yourself in the love of the divine because you are acknowledging the divinity of them. No matter who they are or where they have been or what they're thinking about or what is needed in their lives or how difficult their life has been or not been or whoever they are in their shadow play of existence. You recognize that everything is divine on earth and in each human regardless of role. As you apply the rainbow light, suddenly the dream can shift to be one of non-shadow play because you were commanding it into divine love or divine airstream rather than the normal issues that shadow play can bring forward into the exchanges between humans. Therefore, that's the gift of mastering rainbow light DNA, is the ability to bless each in rainbow light and foster your dreams in a way that states everything is divine, and to be blessed and loved and cared for no matter what the shadow play therein, and that you yourself don't choose to be in the shadow play at all. That's another journey all of itself that we're going to talk about next as we change our photos here. This is a beautiful picture of Lake Musa, and it caught the image and the voice of the end of shadow play for some members in our dream time group. In this moment, Per and Asarana were letting go of many things when they visited this lake. Also, one member of our group experienced emotional upheaval with the death of a partnership and the death of her twin within the same time frame that Asarana and Per visited Lake Musa. The truth is that the end of shadow play begins with you, and the choice to say, okay, I choose to end the shadow play in me. For the shadow play first and foremost is in you. I mean, where do you want to split light and dark? Where you want to believe you have to engage in a demonic action or some other dark force that sits outside of you, not maybe. So in the choice to end the shadow play, first we begin to push out of you the darkness that lies within you, because you have demonic associations or dark angel associations or associations with things that may be less than sublime or light-oriented. And that would be a natural coming out of ascension into light wave motion because that's what occurs. You were in the shadow play in ascension, and you learn to navigate yourself in and out and through it and survive. And maybe your life dreams are a little bit better. Perhaps you manifested something you wouldn't have. Perhaps you gave to yourself a lot of travel. Perhaps you gave to yourself a better dream for a partnership or gave to yourself a better job. Whatever it was, that was all done in shadow play in ascension motion. In light is different, but you still may believe in shadow play dreaming to have this thing and that. In order to end the light wave dreaming, you have to give up shadow play dreaming. And that was a request of this lake. Lake Mjøsa, about 100 kilometers from Oslo, Norway. That Asarana and Per gave up shadow playing, and so they did. It took them about 2 years to end the shadow play in themselves, which is a gift of each mastering divine airstream. When you give up shadow play, you cease to play in a demonic world or a world that is not filled with light. In the light-filled world, there is only light and not shadow play at all. So what does it take to give up shadow play? Well, first and foremost, there is the choice that says, I don't want to participate in the world of shadow play anymore. In my friendships, or my partnership, or my work happenstance, or anything else I may choose to do, including my friendships or other projects, associations, or family of birth, or soul family of origin, of people like you. You have to choose to give the shadow play of you. When you do, there is something else that begins to churn in you that says that the darkness isn't really there and shouldn't be paid attention to. And what you need to do is fill everything with more love and light and care, and then the shadow play exit is staged right. Then something else unfolds that's maybe more beautiful and more filled with delight. And that is what the lake told us that day. The shadow play of you is not ever in the 1, 2, 3 of yourself. Now 1, 2, 3 is something else, and this is not a waltz or sound you were to play, because we know you need a 4/4 sound in order to keep your transfusion succinct day and night. The 1, 2, 3 is about self. The self of you in shadow play has a 1, 2, 3 density. In the 1 is the darkness of you, the ill self, and the darkness of the ill self needs to be purified until it no longer is ill. As you continue to transfuse, the ill self is purified and it starts to fold or fade or be recycled in the recycle bin of you. Sometimes what's stuck to the first level of density itself is somebody else's ill self, and as yours fold, theirs goes back, and you no longer feel the sick self of others. This takes time, sometimes to push, but it can be a project that you focus upon each time you infuse. So first, we're going to focus upon purging the ill self of the shadow play of you. And as you infuse, the light will come up to the feet, to the tailbone, to the neck and through the hands, and down from the cortex to illuminate the body first, and then you will flare the rainbow light to white light airstream up into the subtle body of you, and the ethereal complement that is in your focus. So the ethereal unifies your rays, and often the ethereal works with this easier in rainbow light than non-rainbow light. The ethereal may have already integrated rainbow white DNA and rainbow light systems that you may not have physically. So you receive it after the fact because she went in that direction, he went in that direction already. And so as you transfuse in pure white light, the ill striations in the subtle body of dark or dense sick self begin to fold, allowing that which is stuck to you from others also to abate and depart your field. Filling yourself with light is a project always. Therefore, in the morning before you go about your day, and as you maybe meditate some or shower before you go to work, we would recommend that you try to get up a little early and give yourself at least 30 to 45 minutes of meditation time before you head out the door, where you can infuse light and purify the sick self of you in the morning light, and then the darker dreams will tend to abate or fall off that might play out over the course of the day. The first level self, as you continue to purify, will eventually depart, and for Per, it took 6 months of recurrent focus on purifying the self of himself, and so it could be for you. Then you get to second level self, which is gray and not black, gray to kind of like a burnt color brown. And gray or burnt color brown self is often grievous or emotionally charged about something that didn't work out well in your life. And so as that hits you, you may feel the emotions of it too, and there's no way not to feel the emotions sometimes of the sick self of you as you transfuse. But as you purify each day, those emotions will discharge and you go about your day being happier. So in the next segment of infusion, we're going to work on purifying your second level dense self and see how much of it you can let go of today that is unwell of about grief, resentment, or remorse about what you didn't really experience before in this life of yours. Many of you were working on this level of sick self and have already worked through the first level of unwell self, which has to do with the belief that you are going to die, the belief that you should be in fear or terror, or is such a dark dream that it would be a sick plot for you to live. Most of you have purified this by now, and it is the second level of self that is grievous or emotionally charged about something you don't have or didn't have or never had or never could have in your life that you're working through at this point. When you finally complete with this, the level of ill self will also depart, and you will go on to the third level of ill self, which has to do with resentment, and we'll get to that in a moment. In the second level of ill self, there is a repose to be mournful over what you don't have in life, rather than be grateful for everything that you've had or everything that you have created for yourself, for everything that is beautiful that you have known, whether it was journeys to beautiful places like this scene of Lake Musa in Norway, or whatever you have done for yourself that should be grateful for, whether it is partnerships that did work, that you did manifest, or have now partnerships perhaps that you never wanted, or a child that you raised. Whatever that was beautiful in your life, and we ask you to take a moment to be grateful for what you have and what you have now if you can. And in that, to bless everything that came to you and every spirit that helped manifest that for you, every nature kingdom that pushed something for you, every resource that was there for you, every healing that you received, and everything that was beautiful that you did manifest in this life, that you can now say, wow, that was a great journey into something new, to a place I never know. Aren't I just amazing for having manifested that in this ascension journey of my heart? And in the gratitude, the resentment fades and you remember to love and bless the things you have had or have witnessed or have had come true in your life, and begin to let go of the things you think you haven't had or couldn't have or didn't have or won't have, so that you can manifest the things you really like in another level of light infusion of you. There's no dream you really can't manifest as long as it is the fate of you in light, and that's all we'll say about it. So the need to resent what you don't have is kind of silly, but it is a part of the cleansing of the self of you that you need to go through in order to find your way to another level of beauty and wealth within you. For real beauty and wealth within you is the spark of love and care of the heart that is here for you and here for each, here for the land and the Tao of you and the Tao of each region, the Tao of you and the Tao of each region, and everything that you can know in beauty and grace of a divine ordering and orchestration of you. So second level cleansing leads to a state of divine grace in the self of you, and that's a beautiful place to oscillate your dreams from as it clears. Cleansing the third level of dense self is the need to purify non-truth. And non-truth is a dream of something that really shouldn't be, but you think needs to be because you believe that's the truth of you. In the truth of you is a non-truth, and in the non-truth is a sentiment of something that you think you need to manifest that may not really be true and sincere to your Tao or Dao or this part of yours either. In the non-truth, there is a sense that perhaps the purposeful mission of something that perhaps shouldn't be, or you don't want to be, or something else that you're looking at within you that says, well, this really isn't the truth of me. And that's another level of work that requires learning how to light organza in order to foster a cleansing, to purify the non-truth of the self of you. Light organza is not always an easy level of mastery in this cycle, so we state to you to try for it. But if you can purify the first and second level of dark selves, you will have a much more beautiful, filled life of light wave dreaming than you ever could otherwise, and so it's worth the journey and the introspection over it all. Therefore, you can purge the dark airstream out of you. Really you with these thoughts, because purifying into light organza sometimes requires a level of transfusion not always possible unless you rise to the fission planes of the planet, which means you have to face the ultimate destruction in you. And that is sometimes a very difficult dream to go into, as Asarana well knows in her recent escapade of difficulty with her health. And so here we say, be well with you wherever you go, and wherever you master, and how far you go, and wherever you go is right for you. And be well with the life wave dreams you can manifest in the beauty and grace of you. Now we're going to switch pictures one more time here. Okay, this photo was taken in Switzerland along a beautiful lake. And Asarana is trying to remember the name of the lake. It was one in the Lugana area, but a train's journey far away. And the light of the lake and the light of the clouds and the light organza of this region caught on Pear's film in a beautiful estuary of understanding that you are facing the light world and not a dark world ahead, in spite of the chaotic events occurring global-wide during the time period of our visit here. She thinks it was Lake Como in Italy on the border of Switzerland. Oh yes, Pierre just confirmed that it's Lake Como. Okay, so this photo was a beautiful stanza about light and light infusion and a need to motion ourselves up in light to overcome the darkness in ourselves and the darkness in our light wave dreaming. And so each of you need to remember that whatever darkness you are sitting within, you need to light infuse above it. Infusion system is a gift of your Tao. It comes from your aurora, and it comes up your feet and arms and tailbone and neck and cortex down from the sun. As you are connected to Tao under the land and Tao in the sky in the clouds of you, the light will begin to fill you. As it fills you, you can transfuse and purify the self of you. As you purify the self of you and the negativity that's either yours or theirs, yours leave and theirs abate, and suddenly you're in a better space. As you're in a better space, you can learn to light infuse. The home of you, the office of you, the car of you, or anywhere else you transit recurrently. Now, you will find that some regions light infuse better than others. And it's probably easier to live in a light infusion region than one that doesn't foster that motion. The other thing is that some restaurants automatically light infused because that is the nature of either the building or the chef or the owner or everything involved. And so finding restaurants that light infused are kinder spaces to go visit and dine because they will light infuse you too. Some chapels or spiritual places or monasteries also can light infuse, and visiting them may be useful on a grim day or when you are facing something kind of ugly in yourself. Some parks light infuse and others don't. Finding those parks that light infuse, whether they're local or regional or national, is useful. Taking a trip there from time to better light infuse is useful for overcoming the darkness you're facing in any given day or week or month of transfusion. Light infusion should be set up in your bedroom and living area primarily. You should notice little faucets of light that are constructed under the floorboards of the house. Now we'll get into the concept of cleaning your home with light too. And your Dao has agreed to construct this kind of system for the sake of your own purification and a sacred place to rest and bless and pontificate your life and focus upon a dream you would like to manifest. Focus upon blessing your spirit and each that you know day to day as you continue to grow yourself. So the light infusion valves are larger under the floorboards and along the walls. The first cells should show up and they're basically about an inch wide, and there may be upwards of 20 in your living area, and they crisscross and go in different directions as they need to infuse you. And you may have a favorite place you like to sit or rest in the living area of you, and you may find there is a chair or couch or a love seat that has light infusion valves in the base. If so, those are a good place for you to light infuse. As you sit on them, they may plug into your tailbone and nowhere else to give you an added food as you rest on that perch in the living area of you. In the bed, there should be 20 light-infused valves also in the floorboards and 6 major light infusion systems that go into the bed. If there are 2 of you, then there will be a second set that are side by side, and we recommend that you sleep on the same side of the bed if you're a couple as a result, night to night. The valves will plug into 6 regions. One is the back of the cortex, the second is the neck, the third is the heart, the fourth is the sacrum, the fifth and sixth are the bottom of each foot. As you rest at night, there is a light infusion that is a very subtle to take you to the next level of light infusion of every cell. You can roll on your side, that doesn't matter, and you don't have to sleep back to the bed of itself. It's really okay to roll over. But if you have a tendency to sleep on one side of the king's bed versus another, most likely your infusion valves will be on that side of the bed and not the other. Some prefer infusing on a couch, and Per likes this too. He has 6 systems along a full-size couch, and he often puts his head on the same side as he rests a part of the night on the couch rather than in the bed. Now, sometimes trading from the bed to the couch and the couch to the bed, or the couch and the recliner to the bed to the love seat is not an unusual thing for humans to do who like infuse. Some things infuse and some things exfuse. So it's one thing to infuse light to brighten yourself, and it is another thing to exfuse density. Now in Per and Asarana's home, they set up the family room and the love seat in it as an exfuse place. Asarana would infuse on the couch or recliner and then exfuse in the love seat in the next room. And she finds herself sitting there intermittently here and there to infuse and exfuse over the course of the day. Some may not have a family room area, in which case the exfuse may be geared in the love seat when the infuse is on the couch. So you may go from sitting in the couch to infuse and sitting in the love seat to exfuse, and then you know that you are more balanced each day. In the bed, there is an exfuse system built into the 6-point infused valves, and they are something that is Dao ordained, so that you can infuse and exfuse each night that you rest. Infuse and exfuse has to be even, because if you don't exfuse the density, then there's no more room to infuse the light. And so avoiding exfusing is not a good idea, and it will have a tendency to lead to disease, so never do that. And so this was an opportunity in this lake scene to see infuse and exfuse occurring simultaneously in this particular moment, in this particular mountainous region of Lugano, Switzerland. It is a beautiful thing to know that infusion and exfusion can occur simultaneously for mountains, but not humans. For you, you infuse for about 2 hours and then exfuse for an hour each night that you rest. That's the way that it works. During the day, you mostly infuse for 3 hours with half an hour of exfuse until the night time begins. Sometimes as you begin to exfuse in the evening, you suddenly get tired. This is normal. This is normal, that your body is saying it's time to go to and rest. And that's what we will say about exfuse. There is also decantation, which is where the Tao of your heart diffuses the sick memories that are stored in the spine of you, in the spine of the body of you. Generally, this is done in the middle of the night when you are at the deepest of rest and you can't awake or barely move. Decantation is a process all of its own, sacred to light infusion. For the spine does not decant the sick memories that you have recorded in this body of yours. The body will grow ill rather than well in its transfusion ahead. Memories may surface up for you to recall, but often they don't, because your Tao reveals them in herself, and she may show them again. But when they exfuse out of the body and diffuse out of the body to the spine, you're through with that memory bank, and it's not there to be recalled ever again. And that is the gift of light. There is also another gift of light which is called erasure, where you can erase the ill memory banks of your own life memory storage. And we invite you today to erase the memory banks as a gift of the planetary Tao of everything that you have experienced from the moment you were born to this moment in your life, of anything that was dense, dark, ugly, belittling, judgmental, less than beautiful or glorious to experience in your life stream. Whatever it is, let it be erased today and forevermore. And know that as the memories are fully decanted out of the spine, you will have less and less memory of the past from which you can create a new tomorrow that is free of yesterday. That is a gift of the planetary Tao, knowing that this cycle of shadow play has been very brutal on the emotional scape of most humans attempting to ascend. All of you were loaded with memories of dejection, pain and suffering, and things that didn't leave you feeling well with your family, your parents, your siblings, maybe your early job scape, or anything else maybe that you aspired to, including partnerships that didn't fare well, or children that didn't fare well, or anything else. Whatever that is there that is negative, it is something to be erased. So as it surfaces in your memory banks as you go to infuse in the morning of you, erase it for good and let it be complete. That was yesterday and not today or tomorrow or any future timescape that you were going to live. Then fill your day with light and fill it with rainbow light, and feel each that you are going to touch, and feel the building you're going into if you're going to work, and feel everything else that you could imagine your day to be. Then watch your dreams change and your life boundaries hold as you dance and sway and play throughout the dreams of each day. Now cleaning the home and cleaning yourself is a whole other objective that we say we were going to speak of today. And for this we're going to go back to our prose. Now in cleaning the home, the main light systems that are under the floorboards of the house are very, very slight systems of light that go up the walls. They'll cover the window panes, they'll cover the mirrors, they'll cover the countertops, they'll cover each piece of furnishing, they'll cover the rugs if you have rugs. They'll cover the tiles or hard wood floors or whatever kind of flooring that you have. They'll cover your curtains. They'll cover anything else in the house, lamps, lights, anything else. Imagine it filled with tiny light streams that are spaced about 3 inches apart that crisscross like a grid throughout your home. Cleaning your home with light is very, very simple. Over the carpet, you want a circular, sweeping light that can run for about half an hour. Start it and don't focus on it. Just let it run. Now, one of the things that Asarana has learned about cleaning her carpets with light is all the little hairs ball up into a tiny ball that's usually about a quarter-inch round, and she picks them up and throws them into the trash can about every third day. She doesn't vacuum very much, and the light stream sometimes flubs the carpet. It is not a shag, but is a little bit shaggy and makes it look new and bright. Over the walls, you tend to stream the light in straight lines that run the length of the room. Now, if you have paint on your wall, you can recolor or repaint your walls with light, and all that you need to do is to intend this with some focus and remember to paint each day. Per and Asarana were absolutely amazed at how the walls of their home turned from something that looks like it needs to be painted to looking like something that has been painted all over the house. Even cobwebs or dusty things on the ceiling or on the walls which vaporized as light motions through it into gases. And so that is also for real countertops or floors that you can polish. Your countertops or floors that are either of wood or of tile or some other substances with swirly light motions. Now, if they're wood floors, you can add a light that is kind of a serum that's something similar to wood polish. You can also add this to your furnishings of wood, and they may shine and sparkle along with your cabinets in the kitchen as you light infuse a serum that's similar to perhaps a wax of some sort right onto the wood of you or of your furnishings, and this is amazingly easy to do. The other things you can do is clean your windows and mirrors to be very bright and shining without any marks or spatters on them at all. Cleaning mirrors is simple. It's a circular motion that goes in one direction for 6 times, and then the opposite directions for 6 times, and then they sparkle again. Windows are a little bit more complex if you want both the front and the back to be absolutely clean and sparkle. It's a circular motion in one direction, and then the other direction, and then an upward motion and a sideways motion that all occurs simultaneously. If you do the front of the glass and the back of the glass, then the glass is absolutely clean and sparkly without any marks. Even rain marks will disappear, and it may surprise you how to clean your house in light. So try it and infuse it, and know that your Dao and Tao prefer this, because if your house is light cleaned, it is gentler on Dao and Tao to be present with you and your body. Also, a light, clean house, office, or car will have a tendency not to attract dark dreams or dark entities, because they won't care for the infused walls or car system or office walls. Make sure not to light infuse your computer or you might blow it out so we don't do computers. Don't light infuse kitchen gadgets either. You won't light infuse your toaster or toaster oven or your oven. Hopefully you are not using microwave oven because it isn't good with light. You won't light infuse your television if you still attune to the media for something you need attuned to. You won't light infuse your oven, your refrigerator, or the engine of your car, or it might blow up. You won't light infuse anything that might be a techno gadget, such as your cell phone or your computer hard drive or anything else. So just be aware it's okay for dishes and pots and pans and furnishings and windows and floors and ceilings and carpets and things like that that don't have any techno gadgetry within them. The other thing you can light infuse is your plants. And this is a beautiful thing to do, for you can light infuse them with water so that if you forget to water them, they actually still last and don't shrivel up and die. As Sarana and Pear have done this when they traveled for 3 weeks to months and are away from the home. They are always amazed to come back and the plants are okay even though they didn't have anyone visited and watered them. And that's a beautiful system to set up for the plant kingdom, and maybe even for your lawn if you have a yard, or your bushes where the pine trees or whatever kind of trees you have around you. You can also add lightweight fertilizer to them. It's kind of a ripple effect of 3 circular light wave systems that surround the trunk of the tree or the base of the plant, and you infused a natural light-based fertilizer that help them grow and flourish and be beautiful in your home or your lawn, yard always. Now we'll speak about light infusing the skin and the hair or washing the body with light. This is generally a cascade of light that starts at the top, kind of like a picture of something flowing over the body. And it shows up first in the hair, and it will flow down each strand of hair, nurturing it with a substance that is similar to a hair conditioner. And then it flows down the face, washing the face and giving it a transfigurative facelift, often while you rest. When you're cleaning the body, it's best to rest yourself either in bed or in a lounge chair with your feet up. Then the light pours over the skin, giving it a sort of loop job with a light substance that would be like a moisture cream you would want to put on the skin to renew and revive it. In aerating the skin, the odors go away. In aerating the hair, the need to wash it each day may disappear, and the hair may fluff all by itself with the light infusion gifted to you by your Tao to light bathe rather than water bathe in any given day of your life. Sometimes these treatments are offered at night to nurture the skin and hair, the eyes and the nails. The nails can be polished with light to be shiny and beautiful. They can be transfigured to be round without fouling them down. The feet nails can also be done the same as well, and that's a beautiful gift from your Dao as she chooses for it each day of your life. Be beautiful in you, be beautiful in light, be beautiful in dreams that you choose to create, that delight you by filling your home and filling your office, filling your car, filling each person with rainbow white light, blessing them for being a part of your life, and choosing for beautiful dreams that delight as you swing and you sway and you play instead of grimace each day ahead. And we bless you always with these thoughts. Thank you for attending our webinar always.